Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Halloween. I actually don't know if this video will be up on Halloween or not. It depends on how much people bother me this week when I'm editing. Anyway, this first spread is for my reading journal. I read a horror slash psychological thriller, maybe. It's a BL manga called To the End With You. It's 2 volumes. I did a lot of thinking about this when I read it, not so much in the process of reading it, so I don't really have any notes, but after the fact. But let me tell you what it's about. Basically, there is some sort of zombie outbreak in this world. And so, you know, everyone's supposed to be kind of staying indoors, quarantined, because of course, if you get bitten by a zombie, you become a zombie yourself, or maybe even worse. And the main character is a college student, and as all this is happening, one day his childhood friend shows up at his door and he needs a place to stay. And the main character has this memory of them graduating middle school or high school. And it's like one of those memories where the cherry blossoms are blooming, it's spring, but his friend looks at him and says, "I want you to eat my body." And after they graduated middle school, high school, they lost touch with each other, but the main character has been thinking about that this whole time. I mean, this was like, you know, his very best friend as a child growing up. And because his friend said that to him, it's really like kind of propelled his life in a certain path, because like he's just been thinking about it this whole time, even to the point that like in college, he's studying like something to do with death rituals, I think, like how different cultures deal with the life and death cycle, I guess. And now that his best friend has returned and like showed back up in his life, of course, he's thinking about it even more. He's like, I wonder, like, what's it going to be like? Like, what am I going to do when the time comes? He's like, could I even do something like that? Like, this is just a completely normal line of thought to him. And that's essentially what the story is about. I mean, of course, it's still a BL, it's still a romance. But that's why I said that it really made me think so much after the fact. I feel like there's obviously like the very, I don't want to say shallow interpretation, because it's really not shallow, but maybe more like the most obvious explanation for the metaphor is, of course, eating, like, you know, in this case, physically eating, but that just being a metaphor for desire. I don't think the main character quite understood his feelings. I actually wondered if the main character was a romantic or something, because he's saying something to a girl one time that he can't really do romantic love. But then I realized like all of his ideas about romantic love are with girls, with women that he has no interest in at all. So it's like, of course, these feelings he has for his best friend, he doesn't understand them, because, you know, societally speaking, if he thinks he's supposed to be with a woman and all these encounters he's had with women haven't been particularly romantic, of course, what he feels towards his best friend, it does not seem like the same thing. Of course, he's obsessively hung up on this idea of eating his friend's body, when, you know, what he maybe wants is just to, like, I don't know, try giving him a kiss. I can also read you what I wrote in my journal, like in my notes. I said, quote, "Hunger. Eating being the closest thing that we have to that feeling in your head of wanting something both mentally and physically, wanting to consume." And also, I relate to the main character in terms of like not being able to fully articulate the extent of how much you like someone. Jae-hun, LOL. I put that part in parentheses. Because it's more than physical. In the manga, the main character thought it couldn't be romantic because he was basing romantic feelings off of his inability to stay in relationships with girls. He doesn't realize it's because he's been in love with his best friend the whole time. Eating as a more obvious metaphor, physical desire, also works, of course, but I do think that there's something that surpasses love and like with certain relationships. And that's all I wrote in my notes. But yes, definitely, I do, as I said, I do kind of understand the main character not being able to be like, oh, I like this person, my best friend. I mean, of course, it's like a hang up because this is his childhood friend. He hasn't seen him in a while. The last memory he has of his childhood friend is this like crazy thing he told him. He doesn't understand his own feelings. But yes, I do think there is something different, like something outside of love or like. And the reason why I used Jae-hun as an example is because to me, while he is of course a real person, he's also like the idea of a person. And I don't know if that can really be considered like, can you actually really like someone? Can you actually really have romantic feelings or otherwise towards someone that you don't know? I think a lot of people would say yes, but for me, I don't think so. It can be really hard to explain something like that. I think it's sort of like limerence maybe is like the closest thing, especially too because I don't want Jae-hyun in that way. I don't want any man in that way. And it can be really hard to explain to people that like experience attractions, I guess in a more like simplistic way. I don't know. I was surprised that the manga brought up so many like thoughts like that. I didn't think it would. And also there was one scene that was like kind of scary. So maybe don't read this at night. The next spread I'm making is also for my reading journal, and this is actually a spread about 2 different stories. I finished them both on the same day, and I was like, you know what? I haven't made a spread that's about 2 separate things in a while. Like, I think honestly, since maybe like December, November last year. So I thought I would try it out again. So the left side of the spread is about a blmanhwa called Love at First Fright. I think it's about 20 chapters with only like 2 side stories, so it's pretty short. And the right hand side of the page is about volume 1 of Sleeping on Paper Boats, which is a blmanga. I guess I'll start with Love at First Fright. So the main character is living in this like haunted apartment building, and he has this chance encounter with this man who happens to be not really a medium, but like he can see and speak to ghosts. And this man helps him get rid of the ghosts in his apartment. And that's kind of how they form a relationship. The way it kind of begins at first, it gave me vague like Uncanny Charm vibes. If you don't know, Uncanny Charm is my favorite, like my #1 favorite BL manhwa. If you've never read it, it's kind of like at the beginning of the story, it's very like episodic, is that the word? Where they're just kind of going to different ghosts and helping them kind of like find their happy ending sort of thing. And Love at First Fright was sort of like that. Like it was like the ghosts were obviously there for a reason. Like the main character thought it would be good to help them. Like he starts to learn to be not so afraid of ghosts. The standout point of that manhwa is the fact that the male lead was so normal. Up until I feel like maybe like the last chapter or so, the male lead was so normal. The way the bar is in hell. Like he was so communicative with the main character. He was like, oh, like, let's go slow. Like, let's stop for the day. Like, oh, round 1. Like, yep, that's it. That's the end. So that was refreshing. But I just kind of wish I had been a little bit more focused on like the supernatural aspect, I guess. And then for the right hand side of the page, Sleeping on Paper Boats Volume 1. This manga is by the same mangaka as A Home Far Away. And there's also another series by her that I want to read the most out of everything I've read by her. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. It's called The Yakuza's Bias. But anyway, it's by the same author as those. And A Home Far Away is pretty dark. So I was expecting this to also be dark. And also I'd read some of the like scan team translations of it in the past, and it is just such a confusing read. Or maybe I'm dumb. It could also be a combination of both. So the story is about this man who's a young screenwriter. This story is set in post World War II Japan, so I think the 40s, like the late 40s maybe. And when the main character was a child, he was in this tram and it got hit by a US military jeep, and only he and one other little boy who was sitting across from him survived. And ever since that day, he's just always felt like he's had words inside of him that he needed to get out, and he's just this like brilliant screenplay writer. However, every time he models a character in one of his screenplays after a real life person, that real life person dies. So he just feels like he is cursed. These words, this gift, this talent he has, it's a curse. And he has also been followed around by this vision of himself as a little boy, which he just feels like is death. He's haunted by death, essentially. And the story is about him reconnecting with the other little boy who was in the tram accident with him, who is now, of course, also a grown man. And also just about him spiraling because, again, he feels like he is cursed with death. He has stopped writing. He just hangs out in like sleazy locations, drinking, smoking. But meeting the male lead is actually what makes him feel like he wants to live again for the first time in like forever. I know that sounds pretty straightforward, but the way the story is told is so confusing. I feel like for me, it's either you have to interpret it as this is all in K, main character, it's all in K's head, or it's not. Like this curse is either real or it's not. If it's not real, I feel like he's suffering with a lot of survivor's guilt. Maybe his life has been kind of terrible, of course, even though he's very successful. I mean, what a horrible accident to be in, because he presumably lost his family also in the accident. I also think it's maybe commentary on having to literally sell your soul to be successful, especially because there was a scene that implied Kay has maybe had to sleep with this one man. And also the president of the movie company that he writes for seems very, intent on getting him back to work no matter the cost. And I thought it was also maybe commentary about post-World War II in Japan. Like even the photography, there's a photography studio owner at one point. He's talking about how guilty he felt about taking photos of his dying comrades for just like the sake of news media during the war. And again, that president mentioned something about how like Kay's work, it's so excellent. It'll help like lift Japan back up. And surely in post-World War II, like death following you around no matter what is surely how people felt back then. But I guess you could like also take the story at face value and be like, no, this is like a haunting. Like this is happening. This is real. I don't know. There's a volume 2 of the manga, so I guess I'll see how it ends. It seems like it's not going to end well though, given how volume 1 was going. It's definitely a psychological kind of story. I feel like the relationship between the main character and the male lead was okay. It's just hard to know like what was real and what was not. Their love is real. I guess that's what matters. But yes, I would say this is more focused on like the psychological aspect than the romance at all. I would definitely recommend Love at First Fright if you want kind of more of a lighthearted sort of ghost story, and because the male lead genuinely like seemed to like the main character, he was always blushing. And then I would recommend Sleeping on Paper Boats if you want to just be like, what is going on? Also, I think the main character Kay is drawn really beautifully. The last spread that I'm making in today's video is of course my Halloween spread. It's not Halloween yet, of course, as I'm recording this, so I don't know how it's going to look at all. I don't know what I'm going to say in it. Who knows what I'll be? Who knows the person I'll be by the time it's the end of the week? Also, I'll probably have made, not probably, I will have made Winwin's birthday spread by that time. Speaking of birthdays, today's Yuta's birthday. Oh my gosh, I gotta listen to his album. Will I do that today or anytime this week? I'm not sure because I'm always so busy because no one will leave me alone, but maybe. Y'all, when I tell you, I've been in like tears of frustration almost every single day in the month of October. That's why I think it flew by so quickly to me. It's just because like, I'm no longer living my own life. But anyway, I wanted to discuss some like Halloween related things, including like finishing up different media and whatnot. So first of all, speaking of Halloween, my mom and I ate almost all the trick-or-treaters Halloween candy. We just got a bag of Smarties and I didn't open it. My mom's the one that opened it. We should not have opened it, period. Because almost all the first bag of Smarties are gone. We had to go buy a secondary bag of Smarties. Who would have thought? Also, last night in bed while I was waiting for the last video you saw to upload, I was watching Corpse Bride. Of course, I said I was going to watch it because it's the 20th anniversary. It's one of my favorite Halloween movies. It's my second favorite Halloween movie. Like, it's just so good every time I see it. I've seen it not too long ago, maybe like 3 years ago. It's always fun to rewatch it. Also, I watched American Psycho maybe last week. I feel like that's, yeah, a pretty good movie for the month of October. The way his morning routine at the beginning of the movie is supposed to be like shocking and like ridiculous and like a million steps, but that's just like normal in the year 2025. Oh my gosh. The scene when he first saw Jared Leto's character's business card cracked me up so badly. The way they kept showing each other their business cards and I was like, oh, this is an eggshell finish. Like the embossing and stuff. So ridiculous. Also, I was curious to watch it because I don't know if I've ever seen a horror movie directed by a woman. I was just curious if that would change how like women were sort of, you know, portrayed. Like so often women are the victims in horror movies. So I wondered if it would be like less exploitative, I guess. Also on Halloween, my plan for the day, evening, night, actually not night, day or early evening is to watch Sinners. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but thank you to the subscriber who told me that it's not that scary because I do want to watch it. Other Halloween media, first of all, tonight is the season finale as I'm recording this, the season finale of Halloween Wars. I'm interested to see who's going to win. And then also, I don't know if anyone watches Halloween Wars or Halloween Baking Championship. I know some of y'all must. Halloween Baking Championship, if you haven't seen it, what I'm about to say is going to sound crazy. I do not care that that lady has brain cancer. I do not think she should have made it past the first week. Actually, I don't even know if she has cancer. She might just have a brain tumor. Both are terrible, but I think you can survive living with a tumor as long as it's malignant, right? Is that the right word? No, wait, malignant is bad. Benign. As long as it's benign, like she's gonna be okay. I'm really hoping Oksana wins. I'm probably jinxing myself by saying that. And also I was looking up where her bakery is and it's in a place in North Carolina. It's called Highlands, I think, North Carolina. My best friend literally just went there not too long ago and I was looking up the bakery to see pictures and I was like looking at the prices in the case. $12.75. 12 American dollars and 75 American cents for one little slice of cake. Oh my gosh, but I would treasure every bite though. I just know she's whipping up miracles there. Also, speaking of rich people, you remember that girl I said spent $450 at Aritzia? It's my best friend's roommate. This girl is rich, y'all. I don't even really have time to get into her full extent of her background. I don't even know the full extent of her background, but she goes to this gym that costs like $300 a month or something like that. Tell me why this man asked her out on a date at that gym, and he's a multi-millionaire. He came to pick her up, my best friend said, in a G-Wagon. Not the G-Wagon. And she said they went to this restaurant and she was like looking up his watch afterwards, and it's whatever type of watch it is. It costs $800,000 and it's the same one Drake has, whatever that means. Mind you, it's not enough that this girl is rich. She's also at like probably the fanciest university in my state. And like she's a PhD student and like super duper smart. I don't know what she's doing there, but like, is it not enough for some people to have a few things? They have to have everything. Mind you, this man, nasty. He's like 40 something years old and she's like 25. Ew. It would not be a Sheree's diary video if I don't comment on an age gap. I think that was everything I wanted to discuss as far as Halloween goes. I can't remember. It feels like there was something else I wanted to tell y'all. But in general, I hope that you've had a fun journalween. I know that next video will definitely still be a little bit journalweeny because I'll have to do my October reading log in that video. I actually have 2 arcs from NetGalley that I need to read like ASAP. One of them I requested so long ago and I just thought I'd never get approved. And so I'm like, I kind of don't want to read it now, but I have to now. I've been so busy lately. Like, will this ever end? I don't know. Now that all my free time is taken up, will it ever end? The busyness. Literally, as soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm going to try to catch up some more in my journal. I think I'm 10 days behind. Oh, also, as I said, I always have Food Network on in the background when I'm recording these videos. The Wizards of Baking, the Harry Potter show, is coming back on. I know last year someone commented on my video that they also liked the show and that they had watched it. So if that diva is listening, a season 2 is coming out. How exciting. But anyway, now that all of these spreads are finished, we can go put them into my digital journals. I don't know when you'll be watching this video, like I said before, but I hope that you've had or are having a happy Halloween. And I hope if you have any Halloweekend plans that you are able to safely complete them and then get back home and get in your pajamas and have some candy. I hope everyone, regardless of plans or not, has some candy. I'm curious to see if we'll get any trick-or-treaters. My mom, we usually don't actually buy Halloween candy because there's not really any kids that live in my neighborhood. But last year, she saw some trick-or-treaters and got so sad that she could not give them any candy. And then, you best believe, on November 1st, I'm going to be at Walmart bright and early because we're going to try to get, you know, the half-off candy. And then when we get home, I'll have to take all the decorations down. No, that is so sad. The worst part of Halloween, taking all the decorations down. Also, it has gotten so cold. This happens every single year. There's never a gradual easing into fall. It's like one day it'll be 80 degrees and then the next week, the lows are like in the 30s. I don't think the lows are getting this low or that low yet. But it's still chilly. It's chilly enough that I feel like I can't even wear my Halloween pajamas, which I think I said last year whenever I got them. They're not really Halloween themed, but they're Halloween adjacent, but they're shorts. I'm literally under my heating pad right now as we speak. Like I already got it out for the year. Usually I feel like I try not to get out until it's November. Remember when there used to be seasons, like defined seasons, like they happened one after the other? Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. Everything I used in today's spreads will be in my Pinterest board, and the link to that is in the description box, along with the links to all of my other social media accounts, as well as the links to all of the Google Drive folders for all of my journal deco kits. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. I hope you've had a happy Halloween, as I said, for probably the 5th time. Thank you for participating in Journalween with me. I had a lot of fun, and I will be doing it again next year, of course. But I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone!